Thanks for joining me. I wanted to talk a little bit about the course that I created for couples, the 21-day tune-up. I wanted to talk to you about who I am and why I do it and why I love working with couples. And I am Norma, for those that don't know me, and I am a therapist. I have a master's degree and I've been counseling for a very, very long time. I'm as old as the hills, but regardless, I have gained a tremendous amount of experience through that time, and that's the beauty of what we harvest in our lives. When we start to integrate and we see things on a really deeper level around our own mistakes, our own experiences, and thousands and thousands and thousands of stories that we've heard and helped and connected and worked through with other individuals. So that's why, a little bit about who I am, why I do the work. I love to see people thrive, move through this stuckness. I know how hard and turbulent relationships can be. I have been there, come through it, been through a lot of different manifestations of things, and so it's not just coming from a place of this is how we should do it. This is, I know my own pain, I know my own history, I know your pain, I understand it, I know where you're at, and so this is getting you to higher ground. I'm learning the tools to stay there and to know how to get back on track when you are off track. And sometimes it's really just fine-tuning the communication, fine-tuning how well you know each other, how well do you appreciate each other, and getting back to falling in love, because isn't that what we always want? The good stuff, the connection, when you know things are really juicy and you're in a really harmonious, wonderful, exciting time, and you're just in love again. And that can happen and continues to happen and weaves in and out of your relationship for years and years and decades, and don't settle for the fact that it doesn't. Love does not fade unless you allow it. Love, spark and sex does not fade unless you allow it. These are all just myths we get fed, and we don't have to settle for them. So this is why I made the course, because it's an entryway into just tuning up, paying attention, because we don't get these relationships without conscious effort. It's not that easy. And why do we pay zero attention to the things that are most important to us? Because we're too busy? That makes no sense. So this is really about just starting to be congruent as human beings and putting our energy where we say it matters. So that's the why. The content of the course, of course, we can't cover everything. And why I put it in 21 days? Well, because it's manageable. It's 3 weeks that you have to commit. That's it. You get emails delivered to your inbox every day to coach you, and you can then do the 3 modules. So there are videos, there are lessons, there are exercises, but it's not painful. They're meant to be fun. They're meant to be connection. They're meant to get to know each other deeper. They're learning tools. And yeah, you do have to show up. You do have to put some effort in, but it's fun and it's meant to be manageable. So it's meant for busy people with all kinds of distractions. That this is just an enhancement of how to spend time together and how to make the habit of making time for each other, because when life gets busy, we have all kinds of excuses. So that's it. That's why the 21 days. Also, to make a habit really takes 66 days. So you're doing this once to get the habit of showing up for each other daily for 3 weeks. It's manageable, it's doable. And if you can't do that for your relationship, why are you in it? Honestly, ask yourself. And then to do it once or twice or 3 times a year, which then makes a habit. Technically 66 days consecutively is what makes a new habit, but you know what? We're not machines. So just thinking about how you build and cultivate good habits and change in your life, usually we have to come at it a few times before we clear the gate jumping. You know what I'm saying? That's an equestrian reference. I have no idea why. I have no knowledge of horses. Anyway, the other reality is this course is good for anyone, really, any couple, any dyad. It doesn't matter what combination of genders. whether or ages, because you might be newlyweds, you might be along this spectrum. Really, it fits for anyone from usually from 20s to 70s, but if you got some motivated teens, you could learn a lot about yourself. And of course, I think my oldest client has been 89. So just never say never and never give up. Just keep working on yourself, and life gets better and more interesting. You owe it to yourself. So this is just meant as a compliment to maybe work you're doing with another coach or a therapist, maybe books that you're reading. The self-help world is amazing right now. There's so much resource to be available and accessible, but the fact is it's also overwhelming and it's hard to know where to start. And also, reading a book doesn't really change our dynamic. It might give us a lot of insight, but it doesn't quite teach us how to show up differently. It might, depends how you learn too. So a lot of the time it's just interactive business. So that's the other option, because this course starts again on March 1st. So I like to be available for questions via email and or signing up for a coaching session if you want that as a couple. Along the way, it can be helpful to just enhance and deepen the learning. So that's why and who I am, and I hope this has helped. And it's on sale this week from February 16th to 20th, and we're going to start up again on March 1st. So get in before the sale expires. It will never be this low again, and that is true because I wanted to do that for Valentine's, and 2021 being, we've come through a rough time. We've come through a really rough time. Pandemic's not been easy on anybody, and certainly not couples either. So give yourself the gift of sweetness and just making space for yourself. Sometimes we have to invest in ourselves to really just recommit to showing up in a full way. Thank you for listening.